Was overreacting. Maybe it was just some kids fooling around.
Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it was just some kids fooling around.
But at least I wouldn't have to think about it anymore.
But at least I couldn't have to think about it anymore.
Or so I thought.
So I thought. I thought.
The following night, things
The following night, things got even worse.
got even worse. I woke up again,
I woke up again,
but this time I knew
but this time
for sure it wasn't from a dream.
I knew for sure it wasn't from my dream.
It was a loud thud, like the sound of something hitting the window.
It was a loud thud, like the sound of something hitting the window.
I glanced through the window and was
I glanced through the window
shocked to see the same snowman,
and were shocked to see the same snowman,
identical to the day before.
identical to the day before.
I remembered turning in quite late that night,
I remember turning in quite late that night,
and there was no sign of a snowman when I turned out the lights.
and there were no sign of the snowman when I turned out the lights.
So I was pretty sure it wasn't a kid's prank.
So we're really sure it wasn't a kid's prank.
I mean, who would let their kids out this late to build a snowman?
I mean, who could let their kids out that late to build their snowman?
And what was that noise on the window?
And what was that noise on the window?
The last thing I wanted to do was go outside in the blistering cold.
The last thing I wanted to do was go outside in the blistering cold.
But I knew that if I waited until morning, any
But I knew that it's waiting until morning.
footprints would most likely be covered by another thick layer of snow.
And if footprints could most likely be covered by another thick layer of snow.
I ultimately got dressed,
I ultimately got dressed,
stepped outside,
stepped outside,
and walked up to the snowman.
and walked up to the snowman.
That's when I discovered a single set of very large footprints leading from and to the forest.
That's when I discovered a single set of very large footprints leading from and to the forest.
I couldn't shake this feeling of being watched, and
I couldn't shake this feeling of being watched,
that somehow I'd made
and that somehow
things worse by destroying the last snowman.
I made things worse by destroying the last snowman.
So I decided to leave it alone and quickly headed back to the cabin.
So I decided to leave it alone and quickly headed back to the cabin.
The bitter cold stayed with me that night as I curled up in bed and tried my best to get warm.
The bitter cold stayed with me that night as I curled up in bed and tried my best to get warm.
But the prospect of getting any sleep soon came to an abrupt end with a noise
But the prospect of getting any sleep soon came to an abrupt end
on the glass.
with the nose on the glass.
I recognized it instantly.
I recognized it instantly.
The sound of a snowball hitting
The sound of a snowball
the window.
hitting the window.
I knew deep down that it could only mean one thing.
I knew deep down that it only mean one thing.
Needless to say, I didn't sleep a
Needless to say,
wink that night,
I didn't sleep a wink that night.
and I left the cabin the very next day.
And I left the cabin the very next day.
I never knew his name
I never knew his name
ever saw his face,
or ever saw his
but I
face.
came to know him
But I came to know him
as the Snowman.
as a snowman.
Boo! Ha,
Boom.
got you.
Got it.
Okay, so that was the Snowman. Let me just try and summarize what happened.
What happened?
What did you expect? What were you expecting to happen? I don't know what you were expecting to happen. Were you expecting something?
Were you expecting something?
Were you expecting some more
Were you expecting some more action?
action than that? It's more a kind of creepy story that describes a sort of atmosphere. You can see why I think it could be true, but I'm not sure. You can decide for yourself. And also, as I said before, I don't think it's a supernatural story, but I'm not sure. I actually read that story to my daughter. She's nearly 7. I mean, it's a slightly scary story, but she's okay. She enjoys creepy stories like that. And there wasn't anything really violent in it.
Any really violent in it
or anything.
Her
first reaction was that the snowman itself was alive, and the snowman kept coming to stand outside the cabin, and that it was the snowman who was throwing snowballs at the guy's window at night. I don't think that's what's going on. But it's possible, I suppose. I mean, it's some sort of haunted snowman or something. I don't know. I think probably instead someone is building this snowman. And that's the disturbing thing. Who is doing this, and where are they? Who are they? And what's going on? So basically, just to summarize the story, did you get these details? Did you understand the main details of the story? So the narrator, the person who tells the story, is a writer, a struggling writer. So a writer who's probably finding it difficult to do their writing. Maybe he's got writer's block. Writer's block is a condition, a sort of a thing that affects writers where they just can't come up with ideas. They sit in front of the computer ready to write more stuff, and just ideas don't come. Writer's block. So they just stand, they sit there staring at a blank screen without ideas coming. They can't write. This is writer's block. And I mean, it must be very difficult to write novels, to write stories, to write things. You need a lot of inspiration and motivation and stuff, and sometimes those ideas and things just don't come, and when you're in that state, it's called writer's block. So maybe the guy's got writer's block, and he decides that he has to try and find a way of clearing his head, so he goes to stay at a remote ski resort in the mountains, and he chooses to stay in a cabin which is on the far side of a valley where there are no other cabins, right out on the edge of the resort. There are no other people around. It's totally isolated, so he can just enjoy being cut off from the rest of the world, get out of the city, and he'll be able to focus on his writing. He's hoping that this will be a way to fix his writer's block. So out he goes, and he spends a couple of weeks there at Christmas time, which sounds like quite a lonely thing to do. Doesn't spend time with his family. No, instead he's on his own in this cabin in a remote part of the forest, where I expect it snows every night. It's a ski resort. And so the first week is okay. The second week, things start to go a bit strange. And one night, he wakes up in the middle of the night. He's not quite sure why. He feels